chosen one. Out of more than 8 billion people alive on this earth, no one carries the exact thing you carry. Not one. Before you dismiss that as another message saying you are special, listen carefully. I am not talking about a title, a secret rank, or a power that makes you better than anyone else. I am talking about a pattern hidden inside the way you notice danger, meaning, timing, and opportunity. That pattern was shaped by every room you had to read before anyone spoke. It was formed through every loss you survived, every silence you understood, and every moment when your heart knew something before your mind found the words. No one else has your exact combination of memory, sensitivity, perception, pain, imagination, and timing. No one sees the same moment through your inner lens. That is why certain things reach you while they pass unnoticed by everyone around you. You knew when someone was hiding the truth. You felt a room change before the voices changed. You sensed that an ordinary opportunity mattered, even when nobody else saw its value. You became the person others called when they needed calm, direction, or honesty. Yet when your own life demanded a decision, your certainty sometimes vanished. That contradiction has confused you for years. How can someone see so much for others, then doubt every signal inside themselves? How can a person feel guided one day, then mentally blocked the next? The answer is not that your gift was fake. Having a gift is not the same as having reliable access to it. The thing that makes you irreplaceable is not something you can hold. It is the one-of-one pattern through which your mind recognizes what matters. It helps you notice what is coming, what is changing, and what must not be ignored. But the pattern can remain alive while the receiver grows quiet. You did not arrive here because you needed another compliment. You arrived because something in you has been trying to return. You have felt it when an answer appeared during silence, then disappeared beneath fear. Those moments were fragments of a system that once worked more clearly. Maybe you remember being certain without being loud. Maybe you remember creating without asking for permission. Maybe you remember trusting the first quiet answer before anxious thoughts rushed in to challenge it. That version of you was connected to something your adult mind has struggled to protect. And here is the question you cannot ignore. If the gift is still inside you, why has it become so difficult to reach? Why do you sense the right direction, then delay until the door closes? Why do you receive an idea, then bury it beneath analysis? Why does your inner signal appear, then vanish beneath noise? Before this message ends, you will understand what may have divided the receiver. You will see why confusion does not always mean you lack direction. You will also discover a practical path toward inner cooperation. But first, you must recognize the difference between being chosen and being available. If you have spent years sensing more than you could explain, but doubting yourself when you tried to act, write "I remember" in the comments. Do not write it as a performance. Write it as a private agreement between who you have been and who you are becoming. The signal may not be gone. It may be waiting for you to remember how to hear it. Here is the first truth you can use immediately. Confusion is not always the absence of direction. Sometimes it appears when two parts of you are delivering different instructions at the same time. One part recognizes what is possible. Another remembers what it cost the last time you trusted yourself. The result feels like indecision, procrastination, or brain fog. But the deeper problem may be conflict inside the receiver. You have been trying to force a decision without restoring agreement inside the mind, making it. Pressure makes the fog worse because the system is still arguing with itself. Think about a decision you already know you need to make. Notice the first answer that appeared before fear began speaking. That first signal was often brief. It arrived quietly, then the objections started. One voice said move, another said wait until you are certain. One voice saw the opportunity, another remembered humiliation, loss, or rejection. One voice wanted to create, another wanted to protect you from being seen. Both were trying to keep you safe in different ways. This is the divided receiver. It does not mean your mind is broken. One part speaks through pattern, imagination, and intuition. Another speaks through memory, caution, and survival. When they stop cooperating, even simple decisions become exhausting. You may stay in a job long after your spirit has left it. You may receive an idea that could change your income, then analyze it until the energy disappears. Later, you call yourself lazy, but laziness was not always the issue. To one part, action means freedom. To another, action means danger. Until you understand that conflict, you may keep blaming your character for a coordination problem. Remember one decision from your past, when your first quiet answer was correct. Choose something simple. Maybe you knew when to leave, or knew an opportunity mattered. What appeared after that first signal? Did fear begin building stories? Did an old failure suddenly feel like proof? This exercise separates knowing from the noise that followed. Knowing. You are learning to recognize the order in which your inner messages arrive. Your first signal is not always perfect, but when you erase the signal before examining it, you lose information your deeper pattern may be offering. The goal is honest observation before fear rewrites the story. Instead of asking, "Why am I so weak?" ask, "Which part of me is afraid, and what is it protecting?" Instead of asking, "Why can I never decide?" ask, "What did I know before the argument began?" Those questions create space. Space allows the receiver to become less divided. If this describes your life, write, "My signal is still here," in the comments. Fear does not cancel intelligence. It may only prove that the different parts of you have forgotten how to move together. And the clearest evidence may be hidden in the child you used to be. Before the world taught you to ask permission, your mind created, connected, and explored without demanding certainty first. That child had access to a kind of cooperation you now miss. The most important clue is not found in the person you are today. It is found in the child you used to be. There was a time when ideas came without permission, when imagination and logic did not fight each other, and when you could become completely absorbed in something without asking whether it would impress anyone. You did not need a perfect plan before beginning. Your mind moved between ideas and possibilities with unusual freedom. That capacity did not disappear because you grew older. Something taught the different parts of you to stop cooperating. Maybe an idea was laughed at. Maybe you learned that being safe mattered more than being original. None of this means someone ruined you. Much of it was adaptation. You learned how to survive pressure, rejection, and disappointment. Those lessons protected you, but they also taught your creative mind to wait for permission. Think back to something you loved before it needed to be useful. Maybe you wrote stories. Maybe you sang, drew, built, collected, or imagined. You simply entered a state where attention became natural. You were doing, not judging. Picture that younger version of you for a moment. What could hold your attention for hours? What did you create before the world asked whether it would make money, earn praise, or prove your worth? It is time to recognize a state your nervous system once knew. Curiosity moved before criticism. The mind did not demand complete certainty before taking the first step. You may still catch brief flashes of that earlier state. An idea arrives while you are walking. A solution appears before sleep. A forgotten desire returns when the room becomes quiet. Those flashes matter because they show the system is not dead. It is still responding whenever pressure loosens its grip. Stress can weaken that cooperation. When every moment trains the mind to scan for danger, creativity becomes harder to access. You may have called this aging. You may have believed your best years were behind you. But what if the capacity is not gone? What if it is covered by noise, caution, and habits that once helped you survive? Because a hidden capacity does not need to be invented. It needs the right conditions to return. It needs less internal conflict. It needs a doorway that allows both sides of the mind to participate. There is another layer to the distance you have been feeling, and it is not purely spiritual. Part of it may be neurological. More importantly, it may be restorable. A small team working with a New York neurologist spent years examining what happens when the two sides of the brain stop communicating as effectively as they once did. Their work points back to Nobel Prize-winning research, but the application they created is surprisingly simple. I will show you exactly what they built later in this message. For now, hold one question. What if the gift never left you, and only the doorway to it became difficult to open? The child you remember was not more worthy than you are now. That child simply moved with less division, and the next step is to understand why the most sensitive people often become the most blocked, even when their inner signal is stronger than they realize. Some of the people who notice the most also become overwhelmed the fastest. You enter a room and sense tension before anyone speaks. You hear a change in someone's voice. You notice what was avoided, not only what was said. That sensitivity can feel like a gift, but without balance, it can become exhausting. There are 3 states you may recognize. The first is sensitivity with regulation. You notice many signals, but you can still choose what deserves your attention. The second is sensitivity under overload. Everything feels urgent, every emotion feels personal, and every possible outcome demands analysis. The third is numbness, because your system became tired of receiving too much. None of these states define your worth. They describe how the receiver is functioning. A sensitive mind can become clear and discerning, or it can become trapped in constant reaction. The difference is not how much you feel. The difference is whether your mind can sort, prioritize, and respond without losing itself. You may call it overthinking, but not every form of overthinking is intelligence. Sometimes it is an intelligent system that no longer knows which signal deserves priority. One thought warns you, another offers hope, a third remembers pain, a fourth imagines every way the future could go wrong. That is why simple choices can feel heavy. The mind is not empty, it is crowded. You are not lacking awareness. You may be receiving too much without a stable way to organize it. Here is a simple practice. Before an important decision, ask yourself one question. What was the first quiet signal? Write the answer in one sentence. Then ask a second question. What fear appeared to challenge it? Write that answer separately. Do not force a conclusion, just observe the order. Intuition often arrives briefly and clearly. Anxiety often repeats itself, raises its volume, and creates many possible disasters. This is not a perfect medical rule. It is a way to study your own pattern with greater honesty. The first signal may still need evidence. Wisdom does not mean following every feeling. But when you separate the signal from the fear, you stop treating every inner voice as if it came from the same place. Imagine waking tomorrow with one clear thought instead of 10 competing instructions. Imagine feeling an emotion without letting it control the entire day. Imagine entering a room, noticing what is there, and still remaining inside yourself. That is the difference between sensitivity and discernment. Sensitivity receives, discernment recognizes what matters. And when those two begin working together, the thing you once called a burden may become one of your greatest strengths. If this is the clarity you are ready to build, write "I receive with clarity" in the comments. Not because a comment changes your mind, but because language can mark the moment when you stop confusing overload with identity. Your sensitivity is not the enemy. The real question is whether your inner system can turn what you notice into wise action. And that question leads to something even deeper. Because your gift was never meant to become a status symbol. It was meant to become useful. But there is a reason this recognition cannot end with you feeling special. If your pattern allows you to notice what others miss, then your gift is not merely an advantage, it is a responsibility. The warning you sense may protect someone. The idea you keep postponing may create work for people you have never met. The peace you restore in your own mind may change the emotional inheritance of your children. What you carry matters because of what can move through you, not because of the status it gives you. Being chosen is not a crown. It is a call to become available. You may notice a problem before it becomes a crisis. You may see a better way when everyone else accepts the old one. You may remain calm in a moment when your family needs one steady person. These acts may never make you famous. They may never bring public applause, but a clear decision can change a household. One honest conversation can end a pattern that has lasted for generations. One finished idea can create value for people whose names you do not yet know. This is where many people lose the path. They become attached to the identity of being different, but they never build the discipline required to use that difference well. They want confirmation without responsibility. They want the title without the transformation. You are being asked to choose another way. Not special but unavailable. Not gifted but divided. The world needs the ordinary-looking person who becomes fully present, clear, and willing to act. Think about the cost of remaining divided. How many opportunities have passed while you waited for perfect certainty? How many words remained unspoken because fear disguised itself as wisdom? How many ideas lost their energy while you searched for permission? This is not an invitation to shame yourself. Shame creates more division. It is an invitation to see the cost clearly, then decide that the next season will be different. Imagine sitting with someone you love and hearing them without carrying 10 unfinished thoughts into the room. Imagine noticing your own fear before it becomes anger. Imagine giving your children a calmer, emotional inheritance because you learned how to return to yourself. That future does not begin with becoming more important. It begins with becoming more available. Your sensitivity becomes discernment. Your ideas become service. Your inner signal becomes a guide for grounded action. And the discovery I mentioned earlier was built around this exact problem. The team did not only gather information about a divided mind, they developed a simple method intended to support the kind of cooperation we have been describing. I will explain what they found, who it may help, and why the method is different. But first, you need to understand the basic science without hype. Because trust should not be built on mystery alone. It should be built on clarity. Your gift is not here to separate you from humanity. It is here to help you serve humanity more wisely. The question is no longer whether you are chosen. The question is whether you are ready to become available for what your life has been preparing you to do. You now know why a gift can remain present while access becomes weak, but that is only half of the revelation. If the receiver can become divided, it may also be supported toward better cooperation. This does not require you to force another belief. It does not ask you to repeat a mantra or pretend you feel peaceful. A strong mind can still struggle when different systems are not working together efficiently. Think of two powerful rowers in the same boat. Both are strong, both are active, but if they pull in different directions, the boat turns in circles. The problem is not a lack of strength. The problem is coordination. The brain is far more complex than a simple left side and right side story. Many functions involve networks across both hemispheres. Still, different regions contribute in different ways to language, sequence, imagery, attention, and pattern recognition. What matters is not choosing one side. It is supporting cooperation. This helps explain why you can understand a problem logically but still feel unable to move. One system may recognize the steps. Another may connect the situation with danger, loss, or uncertainty. You know what to do, but the whole mind does not feel ready. The method I will describe soon is meant for people who recognize that experience. It may appeal to someone who feels mentally foggy. It may appeal to someone who creates ideas but struggles to complete them. It may also help someone who reflects, yet finds that inner noise keeps interrupting the process. The scientific bridge often mentioned here comes from Dr. Roger Sperry. His split brain research helped expand understanding of how the hemispheres can process information differently. He received the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1981 for discoveries concerning functional specialization in the cerebral hemispheres. That does not mean his Nobel Prize proved that a modern audio program works. It did not. The research provides a conceptual foundation about specialization and communication in the brain. Any product inspired by those ideas must still be judged on its own claims and individual results. This distinction matters. Mystery can attract attention, but clarity builds trust. You deserve to know where established science ends and where a product begins making its own promise. The people behind the method say they worked with a New York neurologist to create a short auditory sequence. The goal is to support a more cooperative state between the hemispheres without asking the listener to master a complicated practice. You do not need to believe that every problem comes from the two sides of the brain. That would be an oversimplification. You only need to consider a grounded possibility. Some of the fog you feel may reflect a mind carrying stress, conflict, and competing signals. You were not empty. You were interrupted. You were not denied a gift. You may have lost reliable access to the receiver. Before I reveal the method, remember this. A tool cannot replace medical care, wise judgment, or personal responsibility. It cannot make every decision for you. It can only offer a condition in which clearer attention may become easier. Soon, you will hear how two people describe their experience, what the method is called, and why it requires only a few quiet minutes each day. Then you can examine it calmly and decide whether it belongs in your path. The two people you heard about did not share the same life. One was a nurse in California. She spent years caring for others while feeling as if life was happening around her. Her mind felt cloudy. Stress followed her into quiet rooms. She had tried meditation and other methods, but she still felt disconnected. After using the method for about 10 days, she described a simple but meaningful change. She said it felt as if a blocked channel had started to open. She noticed less pressure in her mind. She also felt more present in her marriage, because she carried less invisible tension into each conversation. Another story came from a business owner in Texas. He had 2 children and a mind filled with responsibility. His thoughts felt heavy. Even prayer sometimes seemed to hit a wall. After about 2 weeks, he said the fog began to lift, and he felt more able to use his whole mind. These are personal experiences, not guarantees. Your result may be different, but both stories point toward the same tool created with a New York neurologist. The method is called the Genius Switch. The Genius Switch is presented by Dr. Daniel Barone, a neurologist in New York City. It is an audio sequence that lasts about 8 minutes. You listen with headphones, close your eyes, and allow the sound to play while you relax. The program uses what the creators call neural sync technology. Their stated goal is to support whole brain activation by encouraging cooperation between the two hemispheres. You do not need a mantra. You do not need meditation experience. You do not need to force an emotion. You can use it once each day. Missing one day does not mean you must begin again. This is not presented as ordinary brainwave music. It is not simply a meditation application. The creators say the sequence was built specifically to support hemisphere synchronization. The Nobel Prize research mentioned earlier did not test this product. It offers background about specialization in the brain. The audio must still be judged through its own claims and your experience. The purpose is not to install genius into you. It is to support the return of a capacity that may already exist. The tool cannot choose your path. It cannot replace medical care. It cannot remove the need for sleep, wise action, or honest decisions. It may fit someone who feels mentally foggy, creates strong ideas but struggles to finish them, or wants a short daily practice without a complicated ritual. It is not for someone seeking a miracle without responsibility. It is for someone willing to create 8 quiet minutes and observe what changes. Maybe you have tried meditation or soundtracks before. The difference claimed here is the focus on cooperation between the hemispheres rather than relaxation alone. The official page presents the program at $39. The material also mentions a listed price of $49. Some colleagues reportedly valued the idea near $500, but that is an opinion, not a proven market value. The offer includes lifetime digital access. The audio is delivered by email, so there is no shipping fee. The official page also presents a money-back guarantee under its stated terms. Read those terms before purchasing. The program includes 4 digital bonuses. One is a guided visualization focused on money, love, health, and happiness. Another is a smart grocery guide related to brain fog. The third is a classic manifestation book. The fourth is a printable guide to 5 daily habits. The bonuses may add value, but the central question is whether the 8-minute audio offers the support your divided receiver needs. Use only the official page in the description and pinned comment. Similar names may appear elsewhere, but a copied title does not prove that the audio sequence is the same. The current page may not keep the $39 price forever. That is the only urgency you need. There is no reason to panic. Read the page, review the guarantee, and decide from clarity rather than pressure. For the person who recognized themselves in the divided receiver, the official page is in the description and pinned comment. Examine it carefully. A tool is only a doorway. It does not replace faith, wisdom, medical care, or responsibility. What matters next is what you do with the clarity that may return. Imagine what changes when the first voice you hear in the morning is no longer confusion. Imagine recognizing an opportunity without arguing with yourself for 3 weeks. Imagine being present with the people you love without carrying 10 unfinished thoughts into the room. This is not about becoming a different human being. It is about discovering how much of your life has been waiting for the undivided version of you to arrive. In your finances, clarity may help you notice what is draining your resources. It may help you recognize a useful opportunity, finish an idea you abandoned, or make a decision once the information is enough. It does not promise wealth. It gives you a better chance to act before overthinking kills the moment. In your relationships, clarity may help you speak before resentment grows. It may help you separate intuition from an old wound. You may listen without preparing a defense. You may stop carrying every problem as if it were yours to solve. Inside yourself, the change may feel quieter. You notice fear without becoming fear. You recognize the first signal before 10 louder thoughts arrive. You stop asking other people to confirm every decision because your own judgment begins to feel available again. And then there is your calling. The project you keep postponing may finally receive a first step. The message inside you may become something another person can use. The idea may leave your mind and enter the world. This is where the entire message becomes practical. Clarity is not valuable because it feels peaceful. It is valuable because it changes what you do next. Maybe you make the phone call. Maybe you complete the page. Maybe you apologize without defending yourself. Maybe you walk away from something that has been draining your life. The action may look small, but small actions taken from a clear mind can redirect an entire season. The undivided version of you is not fearless. That person simply knows how to hear fear without obeying it every time. That person still gathers evidence. That person still asks wise questions. But the signal is no longer buried before it can be examined. Think about the next 30 days. What could change if your mind gave one clear instruction at a time? What could you finish? Who could receive a calmer version of you? Which opportunity could finally receive your attention? And for the chosen one who felt something stir when the divided receiver was described, that door remains open in the description and pinned comment. Read what is there for yourself. A small step taken from a clear mind can change the direction of an entire season. After that, the decision returns to you. No tool can become your identity. No audio can carry your responsibility. The value of greater clarity is measured by the life you build with it. Your future is not waiting for a louder version of you. It is waiting for a more present one, a version that notices, chooses, and follows through. A version that no longer spends every day divided between knowing and hiding. The question now is simple. Do you only want to be called chosen, or are you ready to become available for what you were chosen to do? Before this message closes, there is one final distinction you must hear. The world does not need another person convinced that they are chosen. It needs a person willing to become available to what they were chosen for. Now the first question can be answered. What is the thing no one else on earth has? It is your one-of-one pattern. It is the exact combination of memory, sensitivity, experience, perception, imagination, and responsibility through which you recognize meaning. No one else carries the same inner map. That does not make you better. It makes your place impossible to copy. Why did the signal become difficult to hear? It may have been covered by stress, fear, conditioning, and internal conflict. The gift did not always disappear. Access became unreliable. How does access begin to return? You observe the first quiet signal before fear builds its story. You create conditions that support cooperation. Then you take one grounded action instead of waiting for perfect certainty. The answer is not blind trust. Wisdom, evidence, and medical care still matter. But wisdom cannot guide you when every signal is rejected before examination. Say these words quietly within yourself. I do not need to become more important than anyone else. I need to become fully available to what has been entrusted to me. I release the belief that confusion is my identity. I release the shame of every moment when fear spoke louder than knowing. What is true in me does not need to scream. My mind is allowed to become quiet. My gifts are allowed to become useful. My sensitivity is allowed to become discernment. My ideas are allowed to become action. I do not worship the title of being chosen. I accept the responsibility of becoming ready. I will recognize. I will respond. I will no longer call myself empty because the signal became difficult to hear. This is the line between fantasy and purpose. Fantasy asks the world to confirm that you are different. Purpose asks what your difference can contribute. You do not need to solve your entire life tonight. Choose one honest action. Write the message, begin the page, ask for help, keep the promise you made. If you are ready to live from that place, write, I am available in the comments. Let those words mark a decision, not a performance. Think of one person who needs this message. Maybe they once created freely, but now feel tired. Maybe they carry a family while quietly doubting themselves. Send this message to that person, not to convince them that they are superior. Send it to remind them that the signal may still be there. Stay close if you are ready for messages that do more than call you chosen. Stay for messages that help you become ready. Chosen one, the world does not need a copy of someone who already exists. It needs the clearest, most present, and most undivided expression of the life entrusted to you. No one else can occupy your exact place. The signal is still there. Become quiet enough to recognize it, brave enough to trust it, and grounded enough to use it well.